You have just watched the films by Chary Shirliev, consisting of several parts. They tell about the richest cultural heritage left to us by our ancestors. I would like you to learn more about my motherland, the ancient and the modern Turkmenistan, about the history of our nation. Let us start the introduction with a place that has already become sacred for every Turkmen, the Independence Square. This is my favorite place in this city. It is a place where the souls of our ancestors are present. A nation which doesn't remember its past, which doesn't revere and study it, will have no future. Therefore, I would like to tell you about the founders of the Turkmen nation. They were prominent statesmen, military leaders, philosophers, and poets, all Turkmens by birth. I would so much like to talk to them, to discuss what their worries were in their distant times, what incentives led them by their so glorious and at the same time so severe a path, what their dreams were. Turkmenistan, the sacred legacy of ancestry. There were great ancient civilizations that had a substantial influence on the history of the mankind. These are Jeytun, the 4th millennium BC, Altıntepe, Margush, Anao, proto-civilizations of the Bronze Age, world-famous cities, Merv, Nisa, the capital of the Parthian realm, and others, whose golden age refers to the 3rd century BC. The greatest works of Turkmen architects are the mausoleums of Sultan Sanjar, the tomb of Turabek Hanum, the mausoleums of Abdul Fazl and Abu Said, Ibn Zayd, and the followers of Magomed Askabs, numerous caravanserais, and the ruins of many palaces and cities. They all are now a part of the world cultural treasury, and they all are silent witnesses of the lives of hundreds of the Turkmen generations, reminding our people of our ancient origins. Territory of the modern Turkmenistan is a place where one of the first states in the world emerged. That state's historical importance is no less than those of India and Egypt. Historical sources witness that a big Turk-speaking state named Turan emerged in the territory of our country in the 3rd millennium BC. That was a time when all the Turan tribes, such as Saks, Massagets, Dags, Sarmats, and others, were united by a great military leader of the past, Oghuz Khan, who was the forefather of all Turkmens. 2,000 years later, in the middle of the 1st millennium BC, Turan tribes built the basis for the 3 greatest empires of the East, the Parthian Empire, the Khwarezm Kingdom, and the state of Great Kushans. In the course of their history, Oghuz Turkmens founded dozens of empires, small and great states. The Turkmen nation formed of great ancient ethnic groups, including Skifs, Saks, Massagets, Sarmats, Alans, Huns, Turks, Parthians, Khwarezmians, had a period of prosperity in the 9th to 12th centuries. when the Turkmens founded the greatest Asian empires, the empires of Oguzabgu, Karakhanids, Ghaznavids, the Great Turkmen Seljuks, Khwarezm Shahs, as well as several principalities in the Eastern Europe, India, the Middle and the Near East, Transcaucasia, etc. A civilization's reaching its peak has always caused migration and territorial expansion. Thus, from the 3rd BC till 13th century AD, our Turkmen ancestors had penetrated to the territory of Central Asia, Asia Minor, Siberia, India, the Middle and the Near East, Caucasus, promoting birth of the first states in the world. At that time, the Turkmen people founded more than 70 states in those territories. But the special accomplishment of Turkmen people in the Middle Ages is the foundation of the world empire of great Seljuk Turkmens, who wrote a bright page in the history of peoples of the East. The founder of the great Turkmen Seljuk Empire was Muhammed Togrulbek Turkmen. In 1055, Sultan Togrulbek entered Baghdad with his army by the request of the Arabian Caliph and secured peace and order in the Caliphate. The Caliph in his turn crowned Togrulbek and appointed him the governor of the East and West. Thus Seljuks played a decisive part in preservation of the Arab Caliphate and therefore the Islam in the Middle Ages. Alp Arslan Turkmen was the second sultan of the great Turkmen Seljuk Empire, and in his reign a major battle took place in 1071 between the Turkmen people and Byzantine army led by the Emperor Roman Diogenes IV. The Byzantine troops were defeated utterly, and the emperor was imprisoned. The last sultan of the Turkmen Seljuk Empire was Sultan Sanjar Turkmen, the 12th century AD, whom his contemporaries called the second Iskander after Alexander the Great. Imad ad-Din Zengi, the governor of Syria in the 12th century, who rose the Muslims for struggle against the conquerors, crusaders, and defeated them, was also Turkmen. Osman Gazi of the Turkmen tribe Kayu, who lived in the late 13th, early 14th century, founded the Turkmen Osman state. His descendant, Mehmed II Fatih, conquered Constantinople, which meant the end of the 1,000-year-old Byzantine Empire and the consolidation of the Turkmen Osman Empire on its ruins. In the 14th to 16th centuries, big Turkmen states emerged in the territory of Asia Minor, Iran, Transcaucasia. These were Aggunli and Karakunli. Their governors were respectively Uzun Hasan and Kara Yusuf. On the basis of these states, Ismail Shah Safavi founded the state and dynasty of Safavids in the beginning of the 16th century. Bayram Khan Turkmen was an outstanding statesman of the great Mughal Empire in India, 16th century. The founder of Afshar Empire, Iran, was Nadir Shah Afshar from the Turkmen tribe Afshar, 18th century. A prominent statesman and a general, Aybek Turkmen was one of the founders of the Mamluk state in Egypt in the 13th century. We could interminably list the names of the prominent persons of the Middle Ages who were Turkmen by origin. Centuries will pass, but those persons will live in the memory of many nations. During 5,000 years, the Turkmens live in all parts of the world. They have mixed with and dissolved in other nations. They left significant traces in the languages, cultures, and traditions of those nations. To the Middle Ages belong many Turkmen thinkers, such as Muhammad al-Khwarizmi, Ahmed Yasavi, Mevlana Jalaleddin, Rumi, Haja Bektashvili, Yunus Emre, Karaca Oglan, as well as Maktumguli, Molanepes, Kemine, and many others. They call their people to unity, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. If I had an opportunity to talk to them, I would ask them, what are we, the mankind, to expect in the third millennium? Will bloody wars shock the world again? Will children and mothers cry? I know that all nations must hope for the best, hope that we will peacefully live and work and visit each other in our common home, the earth. The whole world's attention is riveted on the study of the cultural heritage of Turkmenistan. An important event in the life of every Turkmen was the International Conference, Historical and Cultural Heritage of Turkmenistan, that took place in October 2000 in Ashgabat. Prominent scientists from all over the world participated in the conference. That event confirmed that the whole world attention is directed on the Turkmen nation, which has a rich and ancient culture and follows the way of neutrality and creation. The decree of the President of Turkmenistan, Saparmurat Turkmenbashi, on establishment of the Institute of Studies of the Cultural Heritage of the Peoples of Turkmenistan, the Central Asia, and the East has been a milestone on its way. My motherland has unique natural resorts. In early 70s, a landslide slipped down from the Kugitan Mountains in the southeast of the country, and a vast plateau with dinosaurs' footprints was disclosed. That is the only place in the world where the giants walking on their hind legs left more than 2,000 footprints on the thickening lava 150 million years ago. After arriving to the capital of Turkmenistan, Turkmenistan is rich with nooks of untouched nature. There are 8 nature reserves in its territory, such as Yeketak, Hazar, Sünd Hazardag, Kaplan Kır, Amudarya, Kugitang, Badghis, and Kopetak reserves. There are also slopes of mountains covered with wildflowers and tulips that do not concede in diversity and variety of colors to the flowers grown in the Netherlands. The new airport, named after Saparmurat Turkmenbashi, the most beautiful airport in Central Asia, will meet our guests. People leading active life can make a walking tour along the unique Sirdar's Path of Health, the length of which is about 40 kilometers. The first sportsman winning in the marathon along the Stairs to the Sky in the international competition to be organized on one of the holidays will win an Ahalteke horse as a prize. In the west, Turkmenistan is washed by the waters of the warm Caspian Sea. 90% of out of the total volume of caviar produced in the world is procured in this sea. Our guests can take part in fishing in the Caspian Sea. The most exciting journeys are camel trips along a part of the Great Silk Road, in course of which you will stay overnight in the Karakum Desert. I know how it feels sitting by a bonfire at night and staring into the sky full of stars, and if you make a wish, it will certainly come true. The generous gifts of the Turkmen land, such as melons, grapes, our exquisite Turkmen wines and cognacs, won multiple highest awards in international exhibitions. Carpets woven in Turkmenistan are known all over the world. Their mysterious patterns, girls, are songs coming from the heart of Turkmen women. The Ahalteke horses are the pride of the Turkmen people. Our guests can make a ride along the mountain paths. I am often asked how much our horses and carpet cost. My answer is that they are invaluable, for many generations of my people devoted their work and soul to them. Thus the carpets with their mysterious girl patterns are the hearts of our ancestors who wove them, and the Ahalteke horses with their irrepressible rush are the heart beating of the carpet ornaments. While the heart of any one of these horses is beating, and at least one of the carpets is being woven, the Turkmen people will exist. The acquaintance with the distinctive culture and art of Turkmenistan, the customs and traditions of the Turkmen people will be very interesting. No holiday in Turkmenistan can go without the national musical instrument, dutar, known from the ancient times. In all times, a Turkmen man leaving his land took a dutar with him, as a part of his motherland to be always with him, in joy and in sorrow. Many battles were prevented by the music of dutar. Its divine sounds stopped bloodshed, influencing over the fervent heads of the warring parties. That is why dutar has become the national symbol of Turkmenistan. The Turkmen female decorations, known from the 4th century BC, are also a necessary attribute of any Turkmen holiday. Once Tomiris, Tsarina of Masaget tribe, one of the Turkmen ancestors, with other women and military men, put on armor and stood in defense of her motherland against the hordes of Kyrus. Since that time, the Turkmen women took off the yashmak and began to enjoy a greater respect for men. Now, these decorations, which have once been armor, are called marvelous silver reins and are symbols of a woman's independence, emphasizing her beauty and greatness. Every lady guest should know that purchasing a Turkmen decoration and wearing them, she can be sure of winning a man's heart forever. You will remember for your whole life the exquisite taste of Turkmen national dishes cooked on the fire: shurpa, plov, shashlik, tandırlama, içlekli, dograma, and hot choreks. Turkmen hunting falcons and taz hounds are known all over the world. Falconry is an ancient Turkmen tradition. The National Falconer Club of Turkmenistan has become a member of International Falconer Association. More than once was our club the winner of international competitions. You will remember for a long time the falconry in the caravan passage through the sands of the central Karakum Desert, accompanied by a Turkmen taz hound. Turkmenistan is famous for its breeding of Astrakhan sheep. Their fur is used to sew excellent fur coats. Many travelers of the past tried, having arrived to Turkmenistan, to get the golden fleece, Astrakhan fur. The famous Saracen breed of sheep is also valued for its white wool, consisting of 80% of down and 20% of medium wool fiber. The illustrious Turkmen carpets are woven of Saracen wool. The Turkmen Alabai dogs help people to guard the numerous flocks of these sheep against wolves. Alabai dogs have been widely known from ancient times, from about 2000 years ago. The bones of this Turkmen dog was found in Altıntepe town in the Bronze Age layers. People call this dog. He realized that the pain is gone. He marched out further with his troops and felt the pain back again. Thus he had to ask the supreme ruler to leave him in Turkmenistan forever. So he came back and lived a long happy life with no more pain in his kidney. Turkmenistan has always been amazing its guests with its wonderful nature. Millions of tourists feel Turkmen people's hospitality. Ashgabat has now greatly changed and become one of the most beautiful cities of the world. One can hardly recognize the old Ashgabat in this city with new magnificent palaces, museums, beautiful fountains, and memorial complexes. New five-star hotels with all modern conveniences and with European, Orient, and national cuisine are to our guests' service. An evening walk along Ashgabat streets, illuminated with multicolored lights of lanterns and fountains, will always live in your memory. I have only told you a tiny part of our history and of all that you can see with your own eyes if you visit our country. The Turkmens have a proverb saying, "A guest is more than a father." This is clear enough. Great Turkmen poet of the 7th century Maktimguli wrote, "Brotherhood is a tradition here, and friendship is a law." Friendly attitude to all guests is essential for the Turkmen nation. It is our mode of life. We will surround you with all possible comforts for rest, travel, and acquaintance with my peace-loving, hospitable, and one of the most ancient nations of the world, the Turkmen nation. I hope that after all you have seen and heard, a small flame will be lit up in your heart, leaving no rest to you until you come to see Turkmenistan. Our ancestors' legacy is kept in our hearts. The duty of our generation is to continue our forefathers' glorious cause. Motherland and mother are not to be chosen. We are grateful to the Almighty God for giving us our motherland. And we are grateful to our mothers for giving us birth in this holy land. We will live in the third millennium with dignity, not to injure the honor and prestige of our motherland, Turkmenistan. The film is to be continued. Scriptwriter Chary Shirliev. Directors Murat Arazov, Chary Shirliev. Consultant Professor Oves Gundogdiev. Editor Yuri Flatkov. The producer and scriptwriter Chary Shirliev on behalf of Argach tourism firm, would like to invite everyone interested to visit and travel around Turkmenistan. The producer and scriptwriter Chary Shirliev, on behalf of Chary Film Company, would like to invite everyone interested to shoot documentaries and movies jointly. Our address: 1 Block G, Mir 2/3, Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. Telephone: 99312441739 or 455274. Fax number 441756.